All right, so more Christmas themed videos. This go around, we'll be looking at Sabaton, Christmas Truce, the official music video, and then we'll be looking at the actual animated video on the Christmas Truce that's also on their channel. And they've also got a longer 21-minute video, which I might wind up getting into and posting possibly on Patreon, kind of not just for anybody that wants to watch it. So I'm trying to take and do some shorter form stuff over here, but I say that, and this will be 22 minutes between this and the longer video. So yeah, try not to take and incur too many things on the channel. But let's go on ahead and let's get into this, shall we? Bro, just this lead up right here before you even get any music. It's 8 minute and 38-second music video, number one. But number two, holy crap. Just that's pretty good as an intro or a lead up to a song.
Wake up! Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Thomas! Come on!
Number one, the piano intro is absolutely beautiful. The fact he's playing it in uniform, that's pretty, in a uniform, that's pretty cool. It again, lending itself to this, to what the song is about and everything. So it's nice to see little, things like that happen. Because a lot of times a band might take and have a short movie, but whenever it comes to them playing, either they're going to be the underlying factor, or a lot of times it'll take and have them playing as a band in regular clothing and stuff like that. It's so the fact that it's pretty cool.
Silence. Oh, I remember the silence.
Bro, that voice. Holy crap, that voice.
After many months on the battlefield, and we were used to the violence, then all the cannons went silent, and the snow fell. Voices sang to me from no man's land. We are all friends. And today we're all brothers, tonight we're all friends. Our moment of peace in a war that never ends. Today we're all brothers, we drink and unite. Now Christmas has arrived and the snow turns the ground white. Hear carols from the trenches, we sing a holy night. Our guns laid to rest on snowflakes.
2 minutes 45 seconds into an 8-minute 38-second video. I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot more of the theatrical stuff. But holy crap, this song so far. His voice, number one, is just, I love his voice because it's got some roughness to it, but it's also got this nice, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. He's got a very good voice, but the instrumentation behind all this, it's just, it sounds like it's building up to something epic, basically. It's, yeah. I like
Christmas
this.
in the trenches, a Christmas on the front, far from home. Madness, how I remember the sadness. We were hiding our tears in a foreign land where we faced our fears. We were soldiers, carried the war on our shoulders for our nations. What are you doing? Is that why we bury our friends? We were all friends. And today we're all brothers, tonight we're all friends. Our moment of peace in a war that never ends. Today.
And could you imagine taking and fighting, and then, you know, for the one day during this battle, no fighting is done, you know, and then have that one day where everybody just kind of, like it says, brothers, and then have to go back to killing each other. Like, I could. We talk about soldiers with PTSD and things of that nature, you know, from recent wars and wars back to the 70s and Korea, and I'm sure World War II and World War One, like, you know, the shell shock and stuff like that. That's PTSD, and it's not something that was talked about. But could you imagine living through this battle for either side and having that moment? It just the internal human conflict within yourself of holy crap, you know. I couldn't imagine. It's we as humans have done things in our history that just defy all logic, and this, number one, the World War One, World War Two being one of them, but some of the things that come out of it, just some interesting and amazing stories.
We're all brothers, we drink and unite. Now Christmas has arrived and the snow turns the ground white. Hear carols from the trenches, we sing a holy night. Our guns lay to rest on old snowflakes. Our Christmas in the trenches, our Christmas on the front, far from home.
I love the bagpipe playing, but the instrumentation is amazing. Holy crap. And that had to be quite the sight to see, right? That had to be quite the sight to see. It just a battlefield silent for a day, singing, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, because this is twice we I've looked at something and it shows, and it's in reference to this battle. Let's say it. Let's see. Then play. I had to take it because I know I've read, and Garth Brooks has a song called Bellawood, and it's about the Christmas Truce. It happened, and it wasn't the entire all of the battlefronts, battles that were happening on the Western Front at this time, but there were areas where this did happen, and they played football with each other and exchange, you know, showed each other photographs of back home and stuff like that. So could you imagine? And that's the thing for me that it's hard to wrap your head around, is the fact that you, number one, you have to bury dead, you know, the dead that are on the battlefield, and probably some trench repair as well in that downtime, but also conversing with your fellow man on the opposite side, knowing they don't want to be there as much as you don't want to be there, and being friendly and showing them things of back home, and, you know, playing impromptu, you know, game of football, and then having to go back the next day to killing each other. That had, again, what that probably did to survivors, to their psyche. You know, that's, of course, and again, that was stronger times, but I'm sure that probably for PTSD purposes, or, you know, shell shock, I'm pretty sure that probably took and played, you know, at least in memories and stuff like that. That probably did stuff. Because imagine taking and showing, you know, a picture of your childhood, you know, your sweetheart back home, or your family or something like that, and then the next day, you know, you're having to sight them up in your, you know, down your gun sights. It's just.
Turns the ground white. On Christmas on the front line, we walk among our friends. We don't think about tomorrow. The battle will commence when we celebrate to Christmas. We thought about our friends, those who never made it home when the battle had commenced.
All right, so that was, yeah, that was freaking awesome. Which I want to look at more Sabaton and history stuff from them as well, because they've got such a wide range of stuff that they've looked at, and not only do they have animated stuff that they can go along with the music videos, they've also got a whole Sabaton history channel where they discuss the stuff that they actually sing about. So really interesting stuff and really interesting band, and yeah. I'd like to take a minute to thank today's video sponsor, Jessica of Cinescape Studios. Cinescape, they sell miniatures that are painted, and they do commission pieces. This is one that was sent to me. You can see the level of detail that is on this. You can check out Cinescape on not only YouTube, but also Instagram and Facebook. So go check out Cinescape. And I got a question. Garth Brooks does have that song Bellawood, but what the fuck was he singing about? Because it always kind of confused me, because yeah, that was during June. That wasn't during Christmas, but he sings it as if it was during Christmas. Like, I know I knew that, but I had to just refresh my memory on that, because I was like, wait, I've referenced it more than one time, but that's not the right time of year, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I used to know a whole lot more about World War I. At least I used to remember a whole lot more. I'm going to have to start digging more into World War I and World War II. Two fascinating just world wars, but Jesus Christ, what the hell was he singing about, the jackass? Cowboy historian he is not. All right, so now we'll be looking at the Christmas Truce animated story video from Sabaton. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? Like, they've got some really good stuff on their channel. Like I said, I want to dig into more of what they've got.
It's the night of December the 24th, 1914, on the Western Front. The industrial might of the new 20th century has been focused into a war that has been going on for 5 months. Everyone thought it would be over by Christmas, but sadly such hopes have now died alongside the young men in the clinging mud and cold of the trenches. On the run-up to Christmas, Pope Benedict XV begged the warring governments to call a truce and asked that the guns may fall silent, at least upon the night the angels sang. But it was no use. In the trenches, sometimes just 30 meters apart, the men of both sides often shout insults to each other above the sounds of battle. On Christmas Eve,
Imagine being in the middle of a battle and hear somebody, telling you, give me the, giving you the business, taking and talking crap to you. That had to be a unique kind of experience. Holy crap! I can't even imagine in the middle of battle the insults that you might hear as well. I mean, I'm going to kill you. Just,
A cry comes over from the German side in broken English. Tomorrow, you no shoot. We no shoot. The British and French are incredulous. Then along the trenches, there's a movement. But instead of seeing the sight of men going over the top, this time, pushed up above the top of the trenches, Christmas trees start to appear along the German lines, lit up by flickering candles. Is it a ruse? Could it be real?
that had to be such a. Did they come prepared? Number one, or did they just from the some of the small shrubbery and trees that's around the area, that they just kind of cut them down, and because that's not something you'd expect to see during a battle. There's Christmas trees, not unless you're in a town square somewhere and trees being blown down. That's wow.
Could the regular soldiers on the front lines make a peace at Christmas when the church could not? On the wind, drifting across no man's land, there's a sound of hope and cheer as Christmas carols are sung. The gentle murmur becomes stronger and is picked up by more and more of the soldiers. As Christmas Eve becomes Christmas Day, the British and French join in too. As the morning draws, there's silence. In a farmhouse a short distance away from the front line is 18-year-old Scotsman Alfred Anderson. He vividly recalled that Christmas Day and said, "I remember the silence, the eerie sound of silence. Only the guards were on duty. We all went outside the farm buildings and just stood listening. And of course..."
That had to be some kind of uncanniness, just uncanny eeriness, because the day before, days prior, just shots and shells and artillery and insults being flung and shot all over the place, and it all stops and there's nothing. That had to be just probably had to be a bit uncomfortable, if I had to venture a guess.
Thinking of people back home. All I'd heard for 2 months in the trenches was the hissing, cracking and whining of bullets in flight, machine gun fire and distant German voices. But there was a dead silence that morning, right across the land as far as you could see. We shouted, "Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas."
Even though nobody felt merry.
Okay, so one of the things we're not going to do, I don't want to take and hear the song all over again. We just heard it. And we just seen what we're seeing right now, basically in live action form. But a little bit of history at the beginning, I like.
There were many matches along the lines that day, some with proper footballs, some with bully beef cans. Some were disorganized scrambles for the ball. Robert Graves reported that in his match, the Germans won 3-2. The Argyll and Southern Highlanders reported their match ended 4-1 to Scotland. An estimated 100,000 men took part in the Christmas Truce. As the men moved back to their trenches, Captain Charles Stockwell took it upon himself to fire 3 shots skyward. He raised a flag upon which was written, "Merry Christmas." His German opposite raised a flag that read, "Thank you." The 2 men then stood on the ramparts and saluted each other. Alfred Anderson, the young Scotsman, survived the war and lived to the age of 109. He said of the end of the truce, "The silence ended in the early afternoon. It was a short peace in a terrible war." But one of the most remarkable quotes comes from a young soldier who, despite being away from his family for the first time, said of the events on that day, "I wouldn't have missed it for the most gorgeous Christmas dinner in England." A Merry Christmas from everyone at Yarn Hub. And the final words go.
That's interesting. That's saying something about the remarkableness of that. The fact that someone said they wouldn't have missed it for the the finest Christmas dinner. That's, that's saying something. That's, gee, Manetti. 109 for the Scotsman. Holy crap. He lived a good long life. All right, so yeah, look, we done seen, right? We done seen or heard the song. No need to rehear the song because they just basically played out everything that was in the video. Just in animated form, which is cool, to be honest with you. The fact they did 2 different videos, 2 different forms for not only the song, but also this giving actual, like, historical stuff, historical anecdotes from that. So, yeah, we're definitely be looking at more Sabaton in the future. See, stuff like this during wartime, too, that it's amazing what the humans, what humanity, how it presents itself in times of viciousness and brutality. And this being, even if it's just for a short while, the soldiers putting on display their humanity and being like, hey, look, it's Christmas. Let's all stop. That's pretty cool to hear about. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. I enjoyed watching this. I enjoyed, the little bit of history thing. Like I said, I might take and do the other one, but I don't know. That being said, y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.